I am Dharmesh Mistry. I'm Global Product Director for Temenos. I essentially manage the channels and their digital banking solutions. My background is all in technology. I've been in banking and technology for 30 years, delivering customer experiences for pretty much all of that time. And although I love technology, my real passion is in delivering technology that makes an improvement to the end customer themselves, so it makes life easier for them. In terms of market trends, clearly mobility is having a huge impact in the industry, and what we're starting to see is that customers are using mobile devices more and more. Up to 3 hours a day is what the average person spends on a mobile device, and that's now overtaken the time that they spend on TV. But it's not only that, we're starting to see that because of lower cost devices, that more people have access to mobile devices, and analysts forecast that almost 90% of the world's population will have access to devices by 2023. Now that's fundamentally going to change the way that we interact with people across the globe. So that's a massive impact in its own right. But from a banking perspective, it means that customers are spending their time online rather than visiting branches, and they're going to have to respond to that in a number of ways. One is that they have to get better at selling online. Today, traditional banks sell up to 15% of their products online, whereas the digital banks are already selling almost 100% online. So there's a huge gap that they have to fill there to compete with the digital players. But it's not just selling, right? It's also servicing. Now we're starting to see that challenger banks like Atom and Mondo are really revolutionizing customer experience, and this really adds to the service experience. So banks also have to address that as a gap in their ability to capture the customer in the future. Customer behavior and expectation changing all the time, and that change has been driven by technology. And the pace of technology change is increasing. So banks have a real challenge to keep up with both technology and the changes in the customer. Now, to keep up with that, they have to do two things. One is offer faster innovation, and the other is to bring to market this innovation really quickly. How you do that? Well, firstly, they have to have a culture of innovation in the organization, but they don't have to build everything themselves. They can go to third-party fintechs and create an ecosystem to drive that innovation for them. But luckily, Temenos have actually created a marketplace for our customers, so our banks can come to our marketplace and find fintechs and third parties providing value-added solutions that they don't have to build them themselves, and that will allow them to launch innovations much quicker. The other thing is that from an internal perspective, they need to have the relevant tools for engagement. So by driving customer engagement, we can take customers through this life cycle of finding customers, signing them up, driving them towards loyalty and advocacy. But you need to have the right engagement tools in play for the business to operate without IT involvement. So if the business can bring loyalty and rewards and offers to customers without IT involvement, that gives them real time to market advantage. A culture of innovation is massively important to banks. It's not just about bringing in new technologies and solutions and fintechs. It's about the people that actually have to operate this in the end, right? And those are the people in the organization. Now, there's a real war for talent out there today, and everyone is competing for the special people that bring that difference to the customer. So if you don't really have a culture of innovation internally, you're going to lose that war to find these people in the first place. Secondly, you also have to nurture those people and provide them an environment that will actually allow them to come up with their own ideas and see them come to fruition. So I think that the actual culture is as important as the technology, if not the differentiator between winners and losers in the future. In terms of best practice for customer engagement, I've spoken to a number of banks over the last 18 months, somewhere in the region of 40 to 60 different banks. Now there's a real variance in terms of their practices for customer engagement, but 2 or 3 of them are real exceptional leaders in the space. And for example, what they can do from an engagement perspective is that they can identify an existing customer that's visiting their website. If at that time of identifying the customer, they'll check their propensity to buy the product that they're researching. And if their propensity to buy that product is really high, they can schedule a call within half an hour of the customer reaching the website. Now, if the customer doesn't take the call and turns up in a branch, they'll not only present the prompt to the teller to make that approach about that product, but they'll also cancel the call. So this really is a really intelligent engagement platform that not only glues together all of the channels, but also monitors the customer's propensity to provide different products and provides a single view of the customer. So if I was to summarize what these leading banks are doing, is essentially they're providing not only a single view of the customer, but also a single product catalog to make the best offer at the right time. They're providing a full omni-channel experience, which allows them to target and track and trace their customer at any channel, whether it's in the branch, the call center, on the mobile, the internet, or even Facebook for some of these players. They're also able to centralize their decision making. They can decide whether, if they identify the customer, whether they want to sell them something, whether they want to try and retain them because they think the customer might be leaving the bank, or whether they think it's a good time to offer them a reward for their loyalty. So they have a central decision-making capability. This I call the single brain. I think it's absolutely a differentiator in the marketplace. If you can centralize these decisions, you can then prioritize what you want to say to the customer and really start to drive a strategic approach to managing the customer lifecycle. The other key thing is that as you make decisions, these leading banks are also able to measure their effectiveness and then refine the future decisions they make to the same customer or to other customers. So it's a self-learning kind of system that optimizes itself over time. So if I were a new bank, I'd be looking at these kind of elements and making sure that they're part of my customer engagement strategy.